That's the kind of show we're having tonight. Why? Because the man with the same name twice has showed up. Miguna Miguna. And he's sparing nobody. He is shooting from the hip. Oh yeah, and he has facts to prove what he's saying. Tweets coming in thick and fast. By the way, if you're just joining us, Miguna has announced he wants Kidero's job. And he says he's going after...
And it's not Kidero's job.
It's the people's job.
It's the people's job.
He's a servant.
He's a servant.
Okay.
He's supposed to be a servant.
Miguna wants to be...
But he turned into a missionary.
Governor of county number 47. Tweets, like I said, so thick, so fast. And you know I have to read Robert Alai's tweet, because you know Alai is, well, he backs Baba.
He's notorious.
Alai says, Miguna will not even get 50 votes in Nairobi. He should run, or rather vie for ward rep in Apondo.
You see, if I did not threaten anybody's interests, why are they wasting their time? If I'm that useless, they should be celebrating, because then they would have a walkover. The only reason they don't want me here because they know it will not be a walkover. Why do you want me to go to Apondo? Because you know that the thief that you are supporting, that is funding your campaign wherever you are, feels the heat.
Yeah.
And I'm here to give them the heat.
You
so
are.
I'm glad that they are talking. I will take the 50 votes that he's giving me freely. And I will ask for others to donate their 50. When we add them up, they will get me through the through what I need.
Yeah. Samuel Mohia says, when you hear this man Miguna on the bench, you understand why Macau Mutua was a joke. Livingston Nyanja says, better remain in Canada and build yourself there. You can't make it here, sir.
That's fine. Why, you see, Jesus, they told Jesus the same, eh? They don't want prophets. That's okay too. Hasn't prevented Jesus' name spreading and he's worshipped up to today. Not that I'm comparing myself to Jesus, but I'm saying that that is well known historically. People who have insecurities do not like people who are confident. And I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
They have their issues. I understand. They can deal with their issues. I have nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more before we go to your ICC point. Frederick Gatutu says, save for Miguna's pride and arrogant demeanor, he is speaking a lot of sense most of the time. Or has he mastered the art?
You see, truth is what Kenyans now turn into arrogance. Because if you told them, tell us what is arrogant there. Like, do they want me to talk like Macau Mutua? Do they want me to be a pink man? Do they want me to be bald like him? Do they want me to have a fake accent like him? A man who left here in his adulthood, went there, and within several years he comes back here and he wants to speak with an American twang. That is a demonstration of inferiority complex. And I don't have it. I speak exactly the same way I used to speak when I was here, because I'm self-confident.
Yeah.
I don't have to copy anyone. I'm not a he-goat like Kidero.
I hope you don't mean I have an American accent. I'm just saying. You know.
If you have issues, that is up to you, my friend. I don't have any issues. I go to sleep very soundly. I wake up very soundly.
Go on. ICC, Miguna.
Yes. Well, I just wanted the country to know, because I think there have been a lot of propaganda back and forth, that when the history of this country is written, they have to reserve a footnote for me, because during the time that the Ocampo 6 were at the ICC, the Ocampo 2 in fact at the end, I was William Ruto's expert witness at the ICC.
You?
I was.
Take me back a bit.
And I have my letter of appointment right here.
As
an expert witness. I'm the one who deconstructed the ICC.
You?
In terms of ODM.
I remember the early days when we were there, when they first had a hearing.
You see, what happened is this. Ruto found himself in a quandary where he needed documents and a position of ODM to explain to the ICC why he could not have been involved. And ODM refused to give him the documents and refused to give him the information that he needed to prove that he was not involved.
Why? Because they wanted him nailed.
I don't know, but they eventually came to me.
As former ODM.
And I have all the documents.
You have all the documents?
I have all the documents, and I sat down and I wrote a report that on behalf of the court, not on behalf of William Ruto, because when you are an expert witness, the evidence you give is for the assistance of the court, so that the court can understand the evidence that they are looking at. So say, for example, ODM's organizational structure, ODM's campaign platform. What was it? Ruto's role in that structure. To what extent was he dominant or less dominant? To what extent could he be said to be the one that could carry the burden of the campaign, whether before or after? So I provided a report, 158 pages.
Were you ever called to the court?
No, because it didn't go to trial. But you see, the evidence you give and the documents you give help the lawyers cross-examine the witnesses. Because if somebody comes and says, I was in ODM and this is what happened and William Ruto did this, well, then they have the records, they have the documents.
So your evidence was obviously privy to the judges.
Well, that is up to the defense to decide whether or not they give the judges. But if you can see, for example, the report is 158 pages with 5 volumes of documents, both primary and secondary, and an analysis, 158 analysis, 158 pages. That's a book.
Did Bensouda have access to this?
No, that's up to Khan to talk about. I was not representing Ruto. I provided this report to Khan, and Khan then decides how to use it, but it was to the court, so Bensouda would have access to it. Yes.
Are you the one who let him off the hook?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, the evidence is the evidence, and the facts are facts. So when the facts fail to reach a threshold, the judges decided that it could not be sustained. I'm not saying that he's innocent 100%, because nobody can say that. But I'm saying for the charges that he faced, he was not involved, as far as I know.
In your documents, did you say who could have been involved?
No. You just say, the question is very clear. The question is to give a report that comprises of details of the formation and structure of ODM, address the specific issues set out in the enclosed terms of reference, and provide your expert opinion thereon. And the terms of reference is there. And the terms of reference then details what you're supposed to do. And I did that.
When you first went to the ICC, I remember in 2011, I think, were you going there on the side of ODM?
No, I was going there to observe. I was just going there to observe. And as you can see, I have been on the side of the victims of the post-election violence. Because after the violence, the only people who suffered are the victims. And ODM had a lot of victims. And these victims were from all communities, but particularly Luos, that is from the side of the ODM, Luyas and Kisis. On the side of PNU, it was mainly the Kikuyus that were victims. So when I went there to observe from the perspective of ODM.
Okay, do you know, since you say you have all the documents, you claim you have all the
documents from ODM.
Right.
Yes.
Do you know how this post-election violence was begun, was started? Was it spontaneous like
I think it was spontaneous.
Do you?
Yes, I believe, and that's what I said. The actual demonstration, you see, ODM had no reason to plan for violence because we were very confident that we were going to win. I'm telling you. In fact, the day before the results were announced, Raila was forming a transition team.
Because he was 1 million votes ahead.
Well, we knew we were winning. We knew we were winning. And there was no way, given the ground. Look, Raila was ahead in Nyanza. Raila was ahead in Western. Raila was ahead in the Rift Valley. Raila was ahead in Nairobi. Raila was ahead in Coast. That is already 5. The only place which is highly populated that he was not ahead is the Central Province.
And Eastern.
Yes, but you cannot win a presidential election with only 2 provinces. And there were provinces at the time. So Kibaki could not win demographically speaking. He couldn't. So, you know, these are just facts. And even though people will say bad things about me, I really only rely on facts to analyze data. And this data suggests that Raila won. Now, obviously, we know what happened, and he became prime minister.
Yeah.
I was involved. That is what I spoke about. I know what we discussed. I know how we ran the campaign. I know how we planned the transition, and nobody spoke about violence. So when all of a sudden the figures looked like they were getting changed, and Martha Karua, now friends of Raila, were cooking the figures at the KICC, the country became agitated, and people rose up, and they started demonstrating.
So it was spontaneous.
And then the security forces started shooting people. Then there is conflict. There has to be conflict when that happens.
Is that going to happen in 2017 if we're not?
Well, I would not want that to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not God. I cannot know what the future holds. I wish it doesn't happen. But I mean, if there is brazen theft, then it can happen.
But what brazen theft? I mean, look.
No. I'm saying, for example,
yeah.
Let's say Nairobi here, which is where I'm running. I can see from the polling stations and from the results coming from the polling stations that I'm way ahead. And then all of a sudden at the end, they announced, like they did in Nairobi University recently, that the loser is the winner. Then you don't expect my supporters to accept that. Legitimately, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Do you honestly, can you look into that camera over there, Miguna, and honestly say that you can take this city? You can beat Kidero, Sonko, Waweru, Wanjiro.
First of all, no, let me speak to the country. First of all these people that my friend Jeff has announced, I don't know if they're running or not, because all the others except Kidero are in Jubilee, and Jubilee will only have one candidate. So to the majestic people of Nairobi, I am vying to become the next governor of Nairobi because I believe that I have a clear vision, a clear platform, a clear ideology, a clean record, a dedicated commitment, and I have the background in terms of training, the experience working in politics way before I became the Prime Minister's advisor, the former Prime Minister's advisor. And given the fact that my opponents either belong to cartels or are cartels themselves, have been implicated in theft or other unsavory activities, I believe I'm the most qualified to transform this city and make it prosperous, and I shall.
Yeah, if you don't make it, Miguna, I mean, you know...
Then life goes on.
Yeah.
Life goes on.
You have said you tried.
It is not death. Yeah.
But you think you are the man.
But you see, if you don't make it, and they elect somebody who is a thief or a criminal, then they cannot say they did not have the choices.
Yeah, we say we get what we pay for, Miguna.
Yeah, they have the choices, and they make the decisions.
Someone was saying earlier on, why don't you move back from Canada then? You know, why do you commute from Canada to run for governor in Nairobi?
You see, the thing is, these people have to realize I did not steal when I was working as a public officer. So when I left public service, I have to continue feeding my children, supporting my family, also in terms of working and self-worth. And I have a license to practice in Canada, and I have a license to practice in Kenya. In Kenya here, the courts are corrupt, and you have to know people, to be able to survive. In Canada, it is your work. It is your competence. And so I am better off in a society where my competence dictates what I become. Now, when it comes to politics, Canada is already transformed. The citizens are already getting most of the basic necessities of life, but they're not getting the same here. I would like to use that experience, that knowledge, that cleanliness and integrity that I have to help my fellow citizens.
Can it work here? Can that formula work here?
Of course it can.
Miguna,
It's working in Tanzania right now.
This is the Wild West.
It's working in Tanzania right now with Magufuli.
Honorable Junet, Mohamed Junet.
And I wanted to say,
I have to say this. I have to ask you this before you
but
say.
this one I also have to say before you go.
All right.
There is something about Makau Mutua that I have to say.
Oh, you're going back there?
Yes. The man became the board chair of Kenya Human Rights Commission.
Correct.
More than 30 years ago. And he has refused to relinquish that position like Museveni, like Mugabe,
He's still chair.
like Omar Bongo, like Biya,
Yeah.
like the worst African dictators. So this is a very bad man.
Can I?
All right.
Can I go to my point?
Yes.
Honorable, was it Junet Mohammed?
Yes, how about it?
You know him?
No, I don't know.
Okay, he tweeted earlier on. He said,
Yes.
why doesn't Miguna Miguna go for the chairmanship of IABC?
So how do I become a chairman of IBC? I mean, they're being tear gassed because they want the chairman out. Now they have a formula of appointing one. I thought they don't. Do they want to make me chairman?
Maybe.
They have not brought it. Is he speaking for Raila or is speaking for ODM? I mean, so they have, these people are confused. One day they are in Okoa, the other time they are in IBC, I don't know. Let Raila get clean and clear-headed people who are disciplined, who know their stuff, to guide him through.
Some people have been
As
saying...
long as you have people like Junet Mohammed, who are jumping all over, if he's proposing that, has he come to me? Does he do that on Twitter?
Yeah.
Is that how a leader operates?
Yeah, it was on Twitter. There's some people who are proposing, you know what, the coalition government was the best period politically this country ever had.
I heard Ngunyi say that
Right.
that's rubbish. It was a dysfunctional government. Everybody knows that.
You were part of it.
Yes, but it was a dysfunctional government. You see, I'm not a man who, if I have a problem in my family, I will deny and say my family is the best. I'm not like that. I'm honest. I will go seek help. So these people, they would praise something that is just rotten. I mean, that was the worst form of government. Yeah.
But
It's graft. It's like grafting a tree.
some people say that's what the opposition wants. They want that Nusu Mukate all over again.
Have they said that? You see, one thing I don't like also is disenfranchising people. So now Ngunyi comes here and he's not in ODM, he's not in CORD, and he wants to speak for them. Let him speak for Jubilee where he works. At least he's qualified to speak about Jubilee and NYS where they looted. But let him not poke his nose, where he shouldn't. I don't poke my nose in Jubilee. I don't poke my nose in ODM right now because I don't work for them.
Yeah.
I can only speak about Miguna.
Before we wind up, Miguna, real quick, would you think of a running mate at some point?
Yes.
Do you have one in mind?
But you see, no, that will come. You see, right now, elections have not been declared.
Yeah.
And there will be a time when we have to submit running mates.
Yeah.
And that takes a while.
Okay, there's a young man in Eastleigh. His name is Ahmed Mohammed.
I know him. He's
You
my
know
friend.
him?
Yes.
He's very interested in being a running mate.
There's no problem.
That's not a bad combination.
No. But we will examine the issues and talk to Ahmed. And then if that becomes viable, we will do it. But I'm not saying I'm committing myself. Right now, I want to promote my agenda, my vision, my platform, so that the country and the county understands where I'm coming from. Because there are a lot of rats around that are trying to divert attention and dilute the message because they are scared. You know, most of these people are feeding through the cartels and they are scared of me.
Yeah.
So they would rather Miguna doesn't even get in. That is why you hear Robert Alai, who is nothing but a handyman. You chase him around or you send him around and he runs like a rat and you drop something for him. So now he doesn't want me there because Kidero is chasing, sending him like a blogger.
Yeah.
We will not need bloggers. Yeah. This will be a people's government.
Last question.
Yeah.
What happened to Jacob Juma could happen to you, Miguna.
No, but
are you worried?
No.
Are you scared?
No.
Are you a little concerned?
Listen, who'd kill me? Why are they killing me?
Cartels run the city.
Well, then let them try.
Kanjo Kingdom.
No. Listen to me. That is what they want. Maybe the people who killed Jacob Juma wanted you to say that, so that everybody would be frightened, and we do nothing, and we become slaves, and we live in a mafia society. I'm not afraid of the mafia. We are born once, and we die once. And Miguna does not grovel for anyone, no matter how powerful. That will not happen. And when and if they come, I will face them. I'm not afraid. And will never be afraid.
Like you said before, yes. Miguna, come, baby, come.
They can come.
Say that, just say that once, come on.
I know. Now I'm governor.
Oh!
Now I can't tell babies to come.
Good to see you, my brother.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yes. Don't smoke the souvenir.
Miguna, what more can be said? Wow! I tell you, calls it like he sees it, and I hope you voters out there, I hope you've listened to one of the candidates. There's gonna be a whole bunch between now and next August. Stay tuned, sit back, better yet, lean forward. Next week, it's a new week, new show, new guests, new themes. But the only thing that's consistent right here are those three letters on the keyboard that follow each other. JKL. Right here on Kenya's television network, KTN. Thanks so much for watching. Keep tweeting at Miguna Miguna, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag ThisMan Miguna. You want to say a parting shot?
I want to confirm that I have a Twitter handle.
Yes.
It's Governor Miguna at Miguna Miguna. And I have a Facebook, Governor Miguna Miguna. So the people who have been saying, oh, he doesn't have a Twitter handle. No, I do.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Yes, he does. Enough said. Thanks for watching. Good night. Good luck. God bless. I gotta do this before we leave. I have to.